I had got transferred because some stupid stuff had ended up popping off at the camp I was at. I didn't directly have nothing to do with it, but you know, when people go to doing this and it makes it look like you had something to do with it, they just, even if they don't know for sure, even if there's a slight possibility, you could have had something to do with it. And then especially if people, you know, running their mouth talking about you in the gang and you blah, 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 blah. So something ended up happening to somebody and I was implicated in it. Like I said, they know for sure I didn't do it. I wasn't even in the dorm where it happened. This is one of the times I was getting transferred. I had got transferred because some stupid stuff had ended up popping off at the camp I was at. I didn't directly have nothing to do with it, but you know, when people go to doing this and it makes it look like you had something to do with it, they just, even if they don't know for sure, even if there's a slight possibility, you could have had something to do with it. And then especially if people, you know, running their mouth talking about you in the gang and you blah, 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 blah. So something ended up happening to somebody and I was implicated in it. Like I said, they know for sure I didn't do it because I wasn't even in the dorm where it happened at. But I guess there were some people around the compound telling the administration that I had something to do with it. And I already knew that, you know, it was eventually gonna take this type of turn. They came and got me in the middle of the night one day telling me to pack it up. I'm thinking they're taking me to the hole for whatever reason, allegedly whatever I did. And when we got out, they took us to ID. I'm like, what the hell we doing ID? Because if it's nighttime lockup, you go straight to the hole. They take me to ID. They telling me, throw your sheet over here, throw your blanket over here, you gonna get all that back at your next camp. I'm like, where the hell I'm going? So he finally told me where I'm going. So they transferred me to a whole total different prison. You know, instantly I get in there talking about, oh, I worked administration, just trying to see if they could get me in there. The lady that works in intake told me off the dribble, you got to go 6 months without a DR before we consider putting you back in administration because of the type of transfer you just got. I said, what type of transfer is this? She said, an emergency transfer. I'm like, what is it for? She was like, I don't know. They say you had something to do with something. So they got me in like this intake dorm. And this is just the dorm all the new people come to where they classify you. And every day they send you out the dorm. You got to go talk to the counselor. They want you to go take this class. They want you to go take this test. They just want you to do all kinds of stupid stuff that I think is personally stupid. You finally get, you know, to where you're going. You finally, they put you in the dorm that you want in. So when I walk in, you know, people just doing their thing. Everybody staring at me because they don't know me. And then the officer told me, he wrote down on a piece of paper, told me what room to go to. So I got out of my property. And as I'm walking over here by the steps, dude walk up to me. Well, he don't directly walk up to me. He walking past me, but he looking me in the eyes. The nigga said, whoop. I kept walking. Now, I instantly identify him as a member of the Bloods gang because I've heard them say that on numerous amount of times. Ooh, they greeting people or they just saying it when they turned up, whatever the case. So I ignored it. I kept walking. The nigga like turned like to catch where my gaze went and said, whoa. I said, damn, bro. If I was what you was, I would have been addressed that the first time you said it, right? And that's another thing that's important. When it comes down to standing up and standing your ground in prison, you know what I'm saying? Like, had I responded to him, it would have been like, carrying my bag. Hold on, bro. I ain't Nigga probably would have started trying me. He probably would have went and told his homies, yeah, he's sweet, he's soft. You know what I'm saying? So when I said that, he was like, all right, check. And he walked up. But my response instantly let him know, you know, it ain't gonna be easy. I ain't gonna say what you can't do, but it ain't gonna be easy. You know what I'm saying? I get upset, I'm walking up the steps, I'm looking at the paper to make sure I'm at the right room. I get to the right room, knock on the door, hear somebody say, yeah. I pulled the door open. There's a dude in there, down on his knees. He got a hot water bug on the floor. The wire is out the wall, but there's steam coming up, so you can tell that he just unplugged it. He probably was in there heating something up or cooking something. Dude got his shirt off, skinny dude. Hair look a mess. Room look disgusting. Smell like chicken. So, you my new roommate? And I just looked around. There was another dude standing right here. And it's just, like I say, bro, the room, he just looked nasty. The room looked nasty. The room stank. there was another dude standing right here that looked like he might be player. You know what I'm saying? He seemed to have himself together or whatever. So I just pushed the door open. I stepped up here. I was like, hey, bro, what room open in here? So he pointed straight at this room. I'm like, ain't no another room open? He was like, shit, bro, my room open, but I ain't gonna cap down. I don't want a roommate. He said, if I do get a roommate, but there's certain rules in my room. I ain't gonna cap. I was like what? He was like, bro, you got to be a player. You got to have motion. All that stinking shit, I ain't gone. Boy, you got to be taking showers every day. I was like, boy, this sounds like my type of roommate. So I said, bro, listen, real player, real boss. I just opened that though, bro. That shit. He was like, oh, yeah. He said, you good, bro. Come on. He was like, shit, that boy in that door so goddamn nasty. He said, don't nobody want to be his roommate. Just because you came over here after leaving that room, after what I said, and you still was like, hey, yeah, I could tell you play for sure, bro. He was like, what they call you? I said, CBL, what they call you? He said, Andrew. I said, okay. He said, shit, where you from? I said, I'm from Detroit, but really like the Atlanta area, that's where a nigga been at since I was a kid, for real. He said, what part? I'm from the city. I'm from Atlanta, west side, for sure. So I said, oh yeah, shit, and I stayed on the west side. So we went chopping it up and telling him all the areas I lived in Atlanta. He like, oh yeah, hell yeah, well, I'm rocking with you. He was like, I'm rocking with you. I'm in there unpacking my property. I heard knock at the door. He like, yo, door swung open. He was like, hey. So he was like, what's up, my boy? He reached over there. He dapped him up. He said, hey, bro, bro, what you say your name is again? I said, C-Bill. So he was like, C-Bill, this my boy Screw. So Screw got me up. He said, what's time, Bill? I said, what the business is? They both kind of about the same height, both like a brown skin, low haircut, you know what I'm saying? They just in there chopping up. He was like, hey, man, Shawty from the city, too. So I was like, you from the city? What part of the city you from? I said, I'm from Detroit. But I've been living in Atlanta for a while, you know what I'm saying? We had to clarify that.